And we're live.
What's wrong with political correctness? Because it's just
I think that it's interesting, like you were making the point about a lack of objectivity and whatnot. And I think that giving that subjective power of policing speech to people who are themselves not at all objective, they have agendas, they have ideas that they want pushed forward, and giving certain people the power to police speech, they're going to take advantage of it. It's been done every time that
that's the
power
problem.
structures.
I was thinking about this too, right? Like the left can sometimes use political correctness as a weapon to bludgeon you with, like I've been offended, I've been wounded, and they're, cry bullies, right? In this, you need to be nicer or you're bad. The right sometimes uses their objection to political correctness to just be assholes.
That's I agree 100%. And so that's what I'm not saying political correctness as far as like I can't even think of an example. But what I more so mean is if we're having a conversation, you have a certain way that you communicate, I have a certain way that I communicate. And so in order for us to communicate the most healthiest conversation that we can have and have a civil discourse without really wanting a conflict, I'm going to use words and terminology that I may not be comfortable with. And you would do the same just because you don't want any drama. You don't want any beef. And that to me, that's what political correctness is. And like Woody said, it can be used as a weapon. But so like the transgender issue, for example, however you want to call or whatever pronoun you want to call somebody, you're well within your right. But if somebody's asking you, okay, call me this, and you refuse just on your principles, in my opinion, you're being an asshole.
See, that always struck me, like the pronoun thing is so weird on its face, because like if I'm talking to someone and they go, oh, my name's Susan, and it's like clearly a trans person, like you would refer to them by their name, And so that's what I don't like about the pronoun thing, is it's like you're trying to control speech and conversations you're not even in. Like I'm not going to use a pronoun when you're here. I'm going to address you by your name.
That's true, but then it can extend to like Mr. and Mrs. and stuff like that, and it could become. I can see how it could become hate speech, because then it's just like the girl that was bullying you, Woody, when she was like, you're gonna do it, so you can be like Mr. you know what I'm saying? And that kind of thing can play out. And the issue I had with a lot of the rhetoric that was coming from you're hindering our free speech camp was, one, it was based on a false premise with that Jordan Peterson C-16 bill, but two, it's framed in a way that's you're gonna come across transgender people 30 times a day, and it's just not the case. You maybe come across 1 in 2 years, right? Just statistically.
Yeah, they blew it so out of proportion.
Yeah, and so it became a political talking point rather than two human beings trying to come to an understanding, which is more likely. You know what I mean? Like if you come across somebody who asked you to do that, I feel like you would respect how they want to just be. I'm talking to you because I feel like you're a good human being. And if you do it, if you don't do it, I feel like it's an intentional thing.
See, like the only time, like I have no problem with people being courteous to one another, but I think that a disingenuous kind of courteousness at the expense of truth, just in order to be more palatable, is damaging to public discourse. Like we definitely don't want to be like, oh, we can't address this issue as honestly as we want because we have to, jump around on different stones and hope we don't hit the wrong thing.
Who's truth?
Oh, I was meaning like people should be able to speak truth as they see it. Like that's how you get through to people. Like if you want to have a genuine discussion with people, it could be, but I think it's more dangerous to call that and force people to walk in lockstep with a pre-approved, usually government mandated form of speech.
Yeah, see, as far as the government mandated, I would agree.
Because that's what's happening in Canada.
I would disagree with that. With that because like that's sort of the whole, like the C6, I think it's C16, the bill that Jordan Peterson. If I read the bill, that's not what it's doing. All it was doing was it was giving transgender people the same rights as like say an African American or whatever the case may be in hate speech, as far as like if you in hate crimes. So like
they were giving transgender people 3/5 of a vote. I can't get on board with that.
No.
If anything, they get 2 votes.
That's funny.
It is funny as shit. But so like hate crimes, like you get persecuted more for hate crimes, right? So like the sentence can be a little bit more heavy if it can prove to be a hate crime. So they just extended transgender people in the same form, and so that got conflated with you're forcing me to use a certain word or pronoun or whatever the case.
I think they were technically forcing them though, because they included misgendering as a form of that hate speech.
No, that it didn't say that.
No, okay.
Misgendering was never said in that bill.
All right, then I'm mistaken on that point.
But that's what the whole thing about the Jordan Peterson thing was that he was conflating that point. But I'm not even super hard pressed on this issue. But my only where I dig my heels in the sand is like, if you really want to have a civil conversation with somebody without pissing them off, like how far are you willing to bend your worldview in order to just not have an argument? Like that's really all it boils down to in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, I understand that point of view.